Top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Guyana celebrates its 58th independence anniversary amid division. The International Labour Organization could be called upon if necessary. Binding arbitration is the way to go, says the GTU. GCOM not accepting online registration. And the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation still in need of 600 nurses. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Monday, May 27 edition of the HGP Nightly News. Here's what you need to know this evening. As Guyana celebrates its 58th independence anniversary, President Irfan Ali at Saturday night's flag-raising ceremony, hosted in the mining town of Linden, reiterated that his government is working towards a more developed and inclusive Guyana. This story from Daisy Richards.
As Guyana celebrated its 58th independence anniversary, a flag-raising ceremony was held on Sunday at the Mackenzie Stadium in the mining town of Linden. President Irfan Ali, in delivering the feature address, highlighted that his government is working towards a more developed and inclusive Guyana.
For the society and our society, national prosperity is about ensuring that our working age population can be gainfully employed. It is a Guyana through which we can have access to world-class educational and healthcare services. A Guyana in which we can own our own homes, we can own our own motor vehicles, we can live, celebrate and honor our religious heritage.
However, despite these promises by President Ali, the more than 15,000 residents of Linden did not support the day's activities after government officials failed to recognize and engage duly appointed regional officials in the lead-up and during the independence celebrations. Opposition leader Aubrey Norton called out the Irfan Ali-led regime for the disrespect shown to the people of Linden.
The opposition wishes to express its profound disappointment and dismay at the PPP government's blatant disregard for the people of Region 10, the elected Regional Democratic Council of Region 10, and town councils of Linden in planning the 58th independence flag-raising ceremony.
Mr. Norton further explained that the opposition will not support any activity that seeks to harbor division. He called out the Ali-led administration for purportedly touting unity among the Guyanese people, but noted that it is the same government that has been sowing seeds of division in society.
In this circumstance, we will not attend any government-organized independence celebration, since to celebrate with the PPP government is to collude with those who are oppressing the people of Guyana.
The PPPC government was again called out for failure to acknowledge the significance of Guyana's Independence Arch located on Brick Dam. The arch, which was donated by the Demerara Bauxite Company, was unveiled on May 22, 1966 by Prime Minister of then British Guyana, Mr. Lyndon Forbes Burnham, who commemorated Guyana's achievement of its independent status. The monument's three arches represent the three counties, Essequibo, Demerara, and Berbice, which are supported by 6 columns representing the 6 races. Veteran radio broadcasters spearheaded a team of patriotic Guyanese and embarked on a cleanup exercise of the arch and its environs. The base was thoroughly cleaned, painted, while the lights on both sides of the arch were replaced. Mr. Green also highlighted that without knowledge and understanding of Guyana's rich history, the younger generation of citizens are unlikely to achieve the goal of the country's motto. Meanwhile, as independence approached, Nightly News sat down with Guyana's 4th Prime Minister, Hamilton Green, who highlighted that Prime Minister of the then British Guyana, Lyndon Forbes Burnham's main objective was to make the British colony an independent nation.
But I came to the side of Burnham because Burnham's objective was to gain independence. I like Chetty, but Chetty seemed obsessed with the communist ideology and followed the path of the Soviet Union. And we felt then that that would be a stumbling block to our achieved independence.
Mr. Green also highlighted that without knowledge and understanding of Guyana's rich history, the younger generation of citizens are unlikely to achieve the goal of the country's motto.
Because without a knowledge and an understanding of our history, we are unlikely to move ahead to achieve the goal of one people, one nation, one destiny.
50 years on, Guyana is known as the fastest growing economy in the world, with an estimated 11 billion barrels of oil in its reserves. However, according to data generated by recognized institutions, 48% of the Guyanese population still lives below the poverty line. For HGP Nightly News, I am Lacey Richard.
A more neutral international arbitrator could be called upon should conciliation talks between the government and the Guyana Teachers Union break down. Find out more in this report. Should there be a breakdown in conciliation talks between the Guyana Teachers Union and the Ministry of Education, there is an option to call in the International Labour Organization to mediate the process. Dr. Light, president of the GTU, was asked about this recently. The issue of mediator, given the current stalemate that exists between the GTU and the MOE, do you think by now it is time to bring in a more neutral mediator, for example, the International Labour Organization?
Absolutely. But let me just say for the public that where we are at this present time, it is not, we have not activated the grievance procedure because we are not at conciliation.
Currently, the MOE and the GTU cannot come up with an agreement as to what exactly will bring an end to the ongoing strike action and have teachers return to the classroom, which will pave the way for negotiations. The GTU is demanding a 20% interim salary increase pending final negotiations, while the government is saying that such a request is late and it will not negotiate under duress.
Where we are at presently is a meeting to determine the resumption clause and conditions and terms before we get into conciliation. That will allow for us to then indicate whether we trust the mediators, and it makes way for an arbitrator to be appointed to look at the matter.
No date has been fixed for the two sides to meet again, but binding arbitration is the way to go, posited Dr. Light. So you are saying, for example, the International Labour Organization, they back arbitration. You're saying that the binding arbitration is the way forward?
Binding arbitration is definitely the way forward because we've seen the compromised position of the state's officials. Even in their statement as recent as last week, Friday, they were talking about, not last week, Monday, they were talking about a 2024. They're insistent of talking about a 2024. How can we go into talking about a time frame when the position is clear repeatedly from the government? So there's going to be no fairness meted out to the working class people of this country, and therefore having a neutral international arbitrator would be the way to go. I don't know if this government has what it takes to ensure that happens.
The GTU is demanding salary negotiations from 2019 to 2023, while government is only prepared to offer a new multi-year agreement from 2024. The GTU's proposal provides for 25% in 2019 and 20% for 2020 to 2023. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Still in the education sector, Guyana is set to establish its first digital school, targeting enhanced educational opportunities for the nation's youth. President Irfan Ali made the announcement during Guyana's 58th Independence Anniversary celebration. The story from Carice Gonzalez.
During Guyana's 58th Independence Anniversary celebrations in Linden, Region 10, President Irfan Ali announced plans to enhance the quality of local education. The government is set to establish the country's first digital school, aiming to provide the youth cohort with improved educational opportunities.
We are now working towards ensuring Guyana will be, in the coming months, creating the first digital school, the first technologically driven school, a digital school for primary and secondary education that will be teaching live online.
President Ali noted that the digital school is currently under development to provide students with an exceptional learning environment. This initiative is expected to inspire similar educational advancements across the country.
We want every single child to ensure that they are in a learning environment. So whilst we're investing in bringing down the cost of data and making internet and data more accessible to every community.
The head of state also emphasized Ghana's transformation since its first independence, noting the country's evolving global identity, creation of new opportunities, and prosperity.
We recommit ourselves on this occasion in building a Guyana that is resilient, a Guyana that is strong and sustainable, a Guyana that is competitive, and a Guyana in which the citizens of her country, the citizens of our country, must and will enjoy the best quality healthcare services, educational services, infrastructure, and recreational facilities.
Reporting for the HGP 90 News, I am Carice Gonzalez.
Thank you, Carice. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
We at SNL Electrical Agency believe that a good design begins with a great lighting plan. From ambiance lighting to statement chandeliers. Trendy LED fixtures. We've got it all. Layering your homes with lights is the key to creating spaces that welcome, comfort, and inspire. SNL Electrical Agency, importers and distributors of all electrical lamps, solar lights, cables, circuit breaker panels, AC units, and so much more. SNL Electrical Agency, 179 to 180 Thomas Street, Kitty. Telephone 226-3018, 223-1634.
Say goodbye to germs with a free Sterling Super Soap automatic dispenser. That's right, get free equipment and installation of our touch-free dispenser. The perfect amount of soap every time ensures clean and germ-free hands. Refilling is quick and easy with 4 amazing fragrances: coconut, sunflower sunrise, pink blossom, and citrus zest. Call us on 265-7403.
Krishna Rock Establishment. No job is too small or too large. We specialize in all types of fabricating, machinery, excavator repairs, rice fill pumps, and hydraulic hoses. Visit us at Lot 113, Block CC Monrepo, East Coast, Demerara, or call 220-9624, 616-9416, or 619-7880. At Krishna Rock Establishment, no job is too small or too large.
You're watching the HGP Nightly News. Welcome back. The laws of Guyana do not cater for online registration, so says Public Relations Officer of the Guyana Elections Commission, as the elections body responds to several queries about online registration. Here is more. Now that the first continuous registration exercise is almost over, the Guyana Elections Commission's Public Relations Officer Yolanda Ward said that even though the elections body has received a number of queries for online registration, this cannot happen given the legal framework.
I know for a lot of persons now everything is going digital, but I want to remind persons in general that registration is guided by a legal framework. And for us at GCOM, we have to stick, and we will continue to stick with what is within the framework of the law. and the law does not make provision for online registration.
The GCOM PRO said that each registration has to be scrutinized by the main political parties. Hence, only in-person registration is allowed.
In the interest of transparency, our registration process has to be scrutinized. We have scrutineers representing the main parliamentary political parties at all our offices countrywide, and therefore that is why it's important that we do registration in person to ensure that for that transparency issue and the integrity in our process, that that process remains highly scrutinized and transparent.
GCOM says it conducts due diligence checks for double registrations by cross-matching the fingerprints of all applicants during the registration process.
Is that we have to do that fingerprint aspect for each registrant. It is the way, the means we use to verify that we have one John Jones on our database and one Peter Paul on our database, because we do fingerprint cross-matching on a regular basis to avoid any possibility of any double registration and all of that. So our processes are highly technical. We stick within the framework of the legal requirements, and of course ensuring that level of transparency and trustworthiness in our registration procedures.
Already, over 9,000 new registrants have so far been recorded during the first cycle of continuous registration for 2024. The first cycle of continuous registration exercise started in January 2024 and will conclude on May 31. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. The Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation is still short of about 600 nurses. According to the hospital's Chief Executive Officer, Robbie Rambaran, this shortage continues to pose a great challenge to the healthcare system. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Chief Executive Officer of the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, Robbie Rambaran, in a recent interview said that while there are several challenges facing the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, the major one remains the shortage of nurses.
Nursing is a challenge. We all know it's no secret that there's a lot of shortages of nurses. We've got a few, I think 15 came from Cuba recently. We're engaging our agencies to get more nurses.
The CEO said while doctors would go home after spending an average of 12 hours, the nurses are there to run the hospital, since they are responsible for checking patients' vitals and administering medication, diet, and other care.
Nurses are the most important resources in the hospital. I always say that, and they are the heart of the hospital. And certainly it will affect care.
A total of 146 nurses resigned from the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation in 2023, while 107 resigned in 2022, bringing the total to 253 to date, leaving a huge void to fill. Just recently, the government approved the recruitment of 500 foreign nurses to fill healthcare positions in both the private and public sectors. Sigma Engineers Limited Incorporation was given the approval as a recruiting agency in a letter dated February 5, 2024. In the letter, which was signed by Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, UTAD, the government confirmed that Sigma Engineers Limited as the agent to do the recruitment of 500 Bangladesh healthcare workers. Government in recent times have been recruiting nurses from Cuba and other countries, and reportedly paying them more than their local counterparts. Tiana Ko reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Tiana. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
Number 1 world-famous astrologer and psychic, Astro Pandit Ishwar. Astrology prediction is God's gift, passed down from generation to generation. He is specialized in the removal of black magic, negative energy, bad luck, voodoo, evil spirits. Your worries end here. Special guidance for broken relationships, husband and wife disputes. Expert in bringing back loved ones.
Business problems, sexual problems, children's problems, family problems, health problems, domestic problems, and many more. 100% warranted result. All matters private and confidential. Call or WhatsApp now for book on appointment. And all religions are welcome.
Watching the HGP Nightly News, welcome back. We tell you now that Acting Chief Justice Roxanne George has dismissed a challenge filed by former Elections Commission officers Keith Lowenfield and Roxanne Myers over a breach of their constitutional right to a fair trial. Tiana Cole will tell you more.
Attorney at law Nigel Hughes, who's representing Keith Lowenfield and Roxanne Myers, who are both facing several electoral fraud charges in the Georgetown Magistrates Court, had approached the High Court, arguing that Section 142 of the Representation of the People Act breached their right to a fair trial, as guaranteed by Article 144, and their right to equality before the law, as guaranteed by Article 149D of the Constitution, regarding certain criminal proceedings pending in the Magistrates Court. Lowenfield and Myers claimed that they needed the deliberations or communications of the Ghana Elections Commission GCOM as part of the facilities for the preparation of their defense in the criminal proceedings. As a result, they made an application for the criminal cases to be adjourned, while they filed a constitutional challenge in the High Court. In the High Court, Lowenfield and Myers named the Attorney General and the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, in the constitutional action. In dismissing the case, the court agreed with the submission from the AG, the DPP, and GCOM. The court stated that Lowenfield and Myers were on a fishing expedition and, quote-unquote, cast their net too wide. The court found no evidence that the constitutional rights were likely to be infringed. The court also found that the public interest in ensuring that GCOM's deliberations remain confidential overrides whatever constitutional right Lowenfield and Myers enjoy. Finally, the court ruled that there was no ground established that shows that Section 142 of the Representation of the People Act breached any provision of the Constitution. This ruling now paves the way for the magistrate to proceed with the criminal charges, which is scheduled to begin on May 29 before Senior Magistrate Leron Daly. Among those facing charges are former Elections Officer Keith Lowenfield, Deputy Chief Elections Officer Roxanne Myers, Clement Mingo, opposition members Paula Lawrence and Carol Smith Joseph, as well as GCOM employees Sherfin Fabry, Enrique Livon, Dennis Bob Cummins, and Mitchell Miller. They collectively face over 20 electoral fraud charges in court. Tiana Ko reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
You will hear now that over 1,500 students graduated from the Ghana Online Academy of Learning on Friday, where President Irfan Ali emphasized that they should not limit themselves by their qualifications. Daisy Richards has the story.
On Friday, over 1,500 students graduated from the Guyana Online Academy of Learning, GOAL, at the Artstown Conference Center. Speaking at the graduation ceremony, President Irfan Ali addressed the graduates and made emphasis on them not to limit themselves to their qualifications.
So the only way you can be ahead of the curve and the only way you can prepare for the next wave of competition that will come is by doing exactly what you're doing today. Get qualified, seek higher level of education, seek training, seek your own development.
He highlighted to the graduates that with their accomplishment, Guyana is more competitive as a nation. He added that their knowledge and qualifications will be the foundation for better decision making to contribute to Guyana's society. The head of state encouraged the graduates to let their qualifications and knowledge guide their future endeavors.
And I believe that education should be linked to an output. And that output should be a level of innovation and incubation. So that when you leave university, you can leave with the seeding of an idea that will blossom fruitfully into a successful future.
He commended the graduates for their determination and reiterated that the government is committed to providing opportunities for higher education. The Guyana Online Academy of Learning Goal is a tertiary education program for accredited institutions across the world that is free. This program equips Guyanese with necessary qualifications to take advantage in a number of various sectors. For HGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
Your regional news is up next.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speed Test, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Aishalton or in Eteringman, we got you covered.
Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone. Working and studying? Lacking energy and restless? Dr. Chase Nerve Food and Nerve and Blood Tablet and Tonic improve your energy, reduce stress and anxiety, improve immunity, digestion, sleep, and nerve function, fight anemia, and maintain liver function. Dr. Chase contains iron, vitamin C, B1, B12, manganese, liver fraction, aloe vera extract, and gentian root. Now, that's a doctor to trust. Dr. Chase.
Distributed by Massey Distribution.
Step right into the vibrant heart of Guyana with HGP TV's freshest series, Inside Culture. Dive deep into the pulsating core of our spirited nation as we unravel the captivating stories embedded in our arts, music, sports, and beyond. A journey to nurture your soul and celebrate our rich heritage. Join us on HGP TV, where Inside Culture brings you closer to the heart and soul of Guyana, airing Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. and rebroadcasting on Sundays.
Good evening, I'm Daisy Richards and welcome to Monday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from Haiti. 3 Christian missionaries from missions in Haiti were shot and killed in an ambush by a gang in Haiti, the Oklahoma-based group said on Friday. The missionaries were taking shelter in a house when gang members began shooting at the residents at about 9 p.m. Thursday, the group said in 2 Facebook posts. Months of gang violence in Haiti have forced the government into retreat, and U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has warned the country is close to becoming a failed state. Haiti's main international airport in Port-au-Prince reopened this week, nearly 3 months after it shut due to deadly gang-related violence. But gangs still control much of the capital, and Haiti's main seaport remains closed. Missouri State Representative Ben Baker said his daughter Natalie Lloyd and the son-in-law Davy Lloyd were killed while working as full-time missionaries. Davy Lloyd was the son of the organization's founders, David and Alicia Lloyd, who started it in 2000. The identity of the third person killed has not been released. Missions in Haiti said the couple was leaving a church when they were ambushed by 3 trucks full of gang members. They took Davy Lloyd to a house, tied him up, and beat him before taking the group's trucks and some items and left, it said. The couple and another individual identified as Jude called the leader of the organization on a satellite phone and said that their lives were in danger. While in Chile, a volunteer firefighter and a Chilean forestry official have been formally accused by prosecutors with involvement in setting wildfires that engulfed central Chile this past February, killing over 130 people. Implicated so far is volunteer firefighter Francisco Ignacio Mondaca along with Francisco Pinto, an official from Chile's National Forestry Corporation, CONAF, part of the Agriculture Ministry that is responsible for preventing forest fires. The prosecutor's office in Valparaiso, a coastal city close to areas hardest hit by fires, said on Saturday that both suspects were in pre-trial detention. Prosecutors said they had access to evidence that shows Moncada and Pinto acted deliberately and that they had knowledge about the optimal weather conditions to start fires. Officials found that in each of the 4 places where fires first broke out on February 2nd, they also found devices made of cigarettes and matches that started them. The judge gave authorities 6 months to finish the investigation, saying that more work had to be done on the cases of missing victims and each suspect's cell phone, according to a post on Valparaiso's prosecutor office's X account. The fires were the worst natural disaster to strike the South American nation since the 2010 earthquake and tsunami that left more than 500 dead. Chile, Argentina, and other parts of South America's southern cone have faced a severe heat wave, something experts say will become more common during the southern summer months due to climate change. The extreme weather in Chile has also been exacerbated by the El Nino climate phenomenon, which warms the Pacific Ocean. Finally, news from Trinidad and Tobago. The killing of 2 cousins in Maloney on Thursday has pushed this country's 2024 murder toll to 226. The comparative toll for the same period in 2023 was 239. The latest victims were cousins Micah Chaville Alfred, 21, and Javale Joseph, 27. Both men resided in Bitten Boulevard, Maloney Gardens. About 12:55 p.m. on Thursday in Kiskadee Lane, Maloney Gardens, Alfred was in a barbershop when a silver gray Kia sedan drove up outside the establishment. A masked man exited the front passenger seat of the vehicle holding a firearm. He shot at Alfred, who was seated in a barber's chair at the time. Alfred attempted to run, however, he collapsed a short distance away, bleeding from multiple gunshot injuries. The suspect returned to the sedan and drove off. The police and the paramedics were notified. However, before they could arrive, the same sedan pulled up in front of a parlor on Kingbear Drive. Joseph was standing at the side of the road next to the parlor. The same masked man exited the vehicle with a firearm. He was seen talking to Joseph for a few seconds before he shot the 27-year-old, hitting him multiple times. The suspect then returned to the sedan, which drove off. A team of officers from the Northern Division as well as the Homicide Bureau responded. When officers arrived, Joseph was pronounced dead on the scene. Alfred was taken to the Arima District Hospital where he died while undergoing treatment. Crime scene investigators recovered 7 spent 9mm shells and 3 fragments along Kingbear Drive where Joseph was shot, while 14 spent 9mm shells and 2 fragments were recovered in Kiskadee Lane where Alfred was shot. A magazine containing 14 live rounds of 9mm ammunition were also found and seized along Kiskadee Lane. Police said the incident is believed to be gang-related. Thank you for watching. Do have a productive week. Until next time.
Guyana celebrates its 58th independence anniversary amid division. The International Labour Organization could be called upon if necessary. Binding arbitration is the way to go, says the GTU. GCOM not accepting online registration, and the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation still in need of 600 nurses, says the CEO. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.